All right, well, moving on. Okay, so today is a very good day, especially for this class out of all of my classes. To the test on the bell ringer, so make sure you take the bell ringer seriously. Okay, so when you have a subtraction sign, what do we have to do? Make it adding, and then change all of the signs. So I had to change the sign of this x and this 4 to both negative. Now the denominators are going to stay the same. They do not change, so I'm going to write x plus 2 on the bottom. That's like in any fraction. If you have 1/4 and another 1/4, you now have 2/4. Okay, now I'm going to add straight across or subtract, whatever it tells me to do. 4 minus 1 gets me 3, so I have 3x. And then here in blue, 1 minus 4 gets me a negative 3. Now, there isn't anything I can divide all 4 pieces by. I could factor further if I wanted to, but you don't need to in this situation because nothing's going to cancel out. So that would be my final answer here. Or I would have accepted this if you wrote this down, because that's awesome if you did. You went further than you had to. I would have accepted that as well. Do you have any questions on that one? That's kind of a summary of what we did yesterday, too. Okay, I will collect those a little bit later. I'm going to make sure that we get through what we need to get through first. Okay, so let's talk about the homework in minutes, and you'll have a while to finish your homework before you leave. Take advantage of this. It's not online. It's on paper now. Okay, so now you actually have a piece of paper. I am going to toss a highlighter at you. So get ready. Right, Alex. Ooh, I'm sorry, Dylan. That was a bad throw on my part. Oh, you already have one. Everyone's got one? Okay. Ooh, that really hurt my elbow. Ugh. Okay. I have a minor tear in my elbow. I don't know how I did it, but I have a tear. Okay. So let's talk about this. Again, look at the columns. Review together. Review on your own. Look how close they are. I'm trying to get this repetitive thing going so that you guys can get used to these problems. It's a really good review. Take advantage of it. Okay, so this very first one. It just says to simplify the rational expressions, okay? Or we're going to have to perform the operations. In this first chart, we're simplifying. If I look here, all I can do is factor. What do I do on the top here? The square root. Very good. So when I take the square root, I get x. And what is the square root of 144? 12. Very good. Okay, I wanted to throw some bigger numbers at you. I feel like you guys are used to the 8, the 9, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so then this breaks up into x plus 12. Very good. And x minus 12 all over 3x minus 12. And then boom, we're going to see a cancellation already. Gone. And with my highlighter, I'm just going to show you visually that this is what's left over, and that's my final answer. So x plus 12 all over 3 is my final answer. Okay? I'm not going to give you time to do number 2 right now because I want you to do that on your own when we're all done. Okay? Question? Take one of these. Oh my God, making me reach and everything. All right. Okay, so again, 2 would be like your quote-unquote homework, but you should probably finish before you leave. Okay, you can work together with each other. We're going to do all the odds. So take a look here. This one is kind of already set up for you. The first thing you want to look at are your numbers. So I have 18 and I have 27. What can I divide 18 and 27 by? 7. Not 7. Higher than 3. 3 is right, but you can go higher. What'd you say? 9. Okay, both 18 and 27 can be divided by 9. Okay, so when I do that, I get something over something. I get 2 over, what's 27 divided by 9? 3. Okay, and maybe like highlight that for yourself, that like that's what we got when we divided by 9. Okay, now I have these variables. I know that you don't have more than one highlighter, but I'm going to highlight. You have to do the x's. I have 2 on top, 3 on bottom. How many's left and where is it at?
1 on the bottom.
Good, 1 on the bottom in green. Okay, oop, that's supposed to be green, not red. Okay, now let's talk about this guy in blue. I have 4 y's on top, 2 on bottom. How many's left and where is it?
2 y's on top.
2 y's on top, very good. And you write that as y to the 2 power, raised as an exponent. And that's my final answer. Now, for those of you that really struggle with understanding where we got the x and the y squared, I'm just going to write this out like 1 or 2 times, and maybe you'll start to visualize it. And if you want to write it out, you can write it out. Like, that's why we give you room. So in the green here, I had 2 x's. That's supposed to be green. Come on, pen. Okay, I have 2 x's. And on the bottom, I have 3. 1, 2, 3. And if you need to actually write this out for yourself, look, there's only 1 left because these cancel. Same thing with the y's in blue. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 all over 1, 2. And that's why there are only 2 y's left and it's on top. If you feel like you need to do that for a little bit, then do it. Or all the time, go for it. That's fine too. Whatever works for you. Me, I just do 4 minus 2, which gets me 2. Up to you. Okay, this next one. Pretty straightforward. What can I divide the top by? What number goes into 4 and 36? 4, very good. So I'm going to divide by 4 on the top. And whenever you divide by something, it comes out. Alex, if you're looking for it, it's up here. 4 comes out. Now I'm left with x minus what? What's left? What's 36 divided by 4? 9. Very good. And then all over x minus 9. And then we're almost done already. This is gone, and with my highlighter, the only thing that's left is 4. 4 is my answer. It is okay to get that. It's okay just to get a number. So that's just simplifying. That was day 1. So if you missed day 1, which was on Monday, that's what we learned. Question?
So is the like sign of 2, 4, 6, are they the homework?
Yeah, so all the evens are like the quote-unquote homework. So if I'm explaining stuff and you're getting it, then start doing that homework part. Or if we finish early, go for it. Okay, that's why I have that right there. Because some of you, I feel like, are getting this and could already be done with the first 2 for homework. Okay, let's talk about this next one. Perform the indicated operation. Simplify completely. So the first thing I look at to see what operation I'm doing. I'm multiplying. Okay, whenever I'm multiplying, I just multiply straight across if you can, or we factor first. It really doesn't matter. So here I'm just going to multiply straight across. And what's 4 times 3? 12. And then I'm just going to rewrite it. X squared, y squared. Okay, all I do is I kind of mush those 2 together. And then I have 2 times 9, which gets me 18. And then you can write it in order. You can write yx to the 4th. That's fine. I'm just really weird. I just make sure that my variables are underneath each other. I like to write like so I can see it visually where they belong. You don't have to do that. You could switch them back. That's fine. Now, what can I divide the top and bottom by? Careful, because it's a bigger number than people think. What number goes into 12 and 18? 4 doesn't go into 18. 2 for sure goes in, but there's
6.
something higher. Yes, 6. Really challenging you to know that. If you did not know that or you couldn't figure it out, I showed you how to do that in your calculator. You do 12 divided by 18, press math, enter, and you'll get a fraction. It'll show you how to do that. Okay, so then I get 2 over 3. Now let's talk about our x's and our y's. I have 2 x's on top and 4 on bottom. How many's left and where are they?
2 on the bottom.
2 on the bottom. Very good. And again, if you're like, I really don't understand that, take a second and write it out for yourself. You have 2 x's on top. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 on bottom. And then you can see that there's 2 left on bottom. So if that's something that you want to write out for at least like the first or all of them, then do that if that helps you. Kind of go off to the side and make that little division fraction thingy over there. Okay, so then I have y squared divided by y. How many's left and where are they?
1 on top.
1 on top. Very good. And again, if you want to make a note for yourself, you do not have to do this step, but I'm just showing you how you could visualize it. There's 2 on top, 1 on bottom, and only 1 left. Okay? Do you have questions on that one? Okay, flying through here. This one's probably the easiest of the bunch because most of it's factored for you. Right away, what I recommend is just looking if there's something exactly the same on top as it is on the bottom. Do we see that? The x plus 5. So why not just cross them out right away? If you see that, do it right away. It's okay if they're in different fractions. As long as we're multiplying, we can do that. Okay, now let's talk about this 2x plus 6. What can I divide them both by? 2. So I'm going to divide by 2, divide by 2. Okay, and I'm going to go off to the side and let's go ahead and write out what we have left. I have 3x plus 3 all on top. I'm going to take that 2 out. And let's see what's left over. 2 divided by 2, that goes away. I get x. And then what's 6 divided by 2? 3. So plus 3. And then I have this guy left too, this x minus 2. Questions there? Now we see another thing that cancels. That's gone. And with my highlighter, I can see I have 3 all over 2 times that x minus 2. That's my final answer. 3 all over 2x minus 2. And it's okay to get something weird that looks like that. A lot of people, I think, just struggle with this because they're not used to writing, you know, variables like fractions. It's just new to you. Do you have any questions on that? Okay, go ahead and flip when you're ready so I know that I can move on. Okay. This one, probably the toughest of the bunch just because you have to remember how to factor that one on the bottom there. The 4 I can't factor, but I can factor this guy. So I'm going to go off to the side, and I'm going to say what multiplies to 20 and adds to negative 9. I'm going to make my chart. Now, some of you might be able to tell me the two numbers right away, but if you can't, we can write them all out. 1 and 20 doesn't work. 20 divided by 2 is 10. That's not going to add or subtract to get me 9. 3 doesn't work. 20 divided by 4 gets me 5. Will those somehow get me 9, negative 9?
Yeah.
What's going to happen with the signs? They're both negative. Very good. Okay? So I like to make that chart if I don't know my numbers off the top of my head. Like I said, some of you will automatically be able to do that without even making a chart. Okay, let's talk about this piece. What can I divide both of them by? A 2. So I'm just going to write that out for myself so I know I'm going to be dividing by 2. All right, let's write it out. 4 on top, and let's talk about this other top piece. I'm going to pull out the 2, and let's see what's left over. Whenever you divide by a number or a letter, you have to represent it by pulling it outside. That's what that means when you take out a 2. And I'm left with x minus what? Very good. And then over here, we already established what this new guy is. It's x minus 4 and x minus 5. That came from right here. So if you want to like highlight that for yourself so you know that's where it came from, that's fine. Okay, and then I have times 4x squared. So in black are all, we already did that. There was nothing to do. So now let's go ahead and cancel things. Right away, I can see I cancel the 4's out. There's no point in multiplying those if they cancel. The x minus 5's also go away. And I'm left with 2 on top in green, x minus 4, and x squared on bottom. So I have 2 on top, x minus 4. And you could write it on in the back, but I'm going to write it in the front because it's just more formal that way. And we're done. Oops, sorry guys. Oh, I probably should have put, I don't know what I just pressed. All right. Now I think as we move on now, it's going to get a little bit easier with these ones. Okay, you guys really liked these ones because they're the square root ones. What is the square root of 81? 9. So I'm going to write that as x plus 9, x minus 9, all over 7. What happens to division? Changes to multiplication. Now, and when we do that, the moment you change something, you have to also probably change something else. I change it to multiplication, then I flip the second fraction. So I have 1 over x plus 9. I'm going to show you that operation there. 1 over x plus 9. Lots of phones right now. That's, again, I'm not your mom. I don't care. You'll see the result when we test out next week. Okay? All right. Let's go ahead and cross some things out. I got this guy's gone, and this is all that's left over. If you want to put that 1 there, you can. It's just, again, anything times 1 is itself. So I have x minus 9 all over 7. Now you could keep the parentheses in too. Doesn't really matter. Remember, x minus 9 times 1 gets me x minus 9. That's why I don't have to write the 1. Because anything times 1 is itself. Questions? Okay, here we go. This guy. Same thing. We're going to flip that second fraction. So I'm just going to rewrite it. I have 4x over 7x plus 2. Then I'm going to change it to multiplication. Flip the second fraction. You always do that when you're working with division. So I have x plus 3 on top, and then x squared. Now, let's take a look here. Did I change something on here? That's weird.
Yeah, mine says 7x plus 21.
Okay, I was like, why does mine look weird? I'm like, I wouldn't have done that. I'm like, I wouldn't have made it like where you couldn't do anything. Okay, thank you. All right, so now, what can I divide? If you look here, this guy I can't factor. None of them. The only one I can factor is this one. What number goes into both of them? It's going to become 3. How do I get 3 from 21? What do I got to divide it by? 7. Okay, so you will get 3. It's just I have to divide by 7 first. I'm going to divide by 7. When you divide by 7, let's see what happens. You're left with x plus what? 3. Very good. All right, then I have 4x on top, x plus 3. Everything else stayed the same there. I got my Christmas colors going on here. Now I can cancel. Gone, gone. I have 4x left on top and 7x squared on bottom. Some of you might be able to already tell, how to reduce that, but I'm going to write it out just for the sake of the review. 4x all over 7x squared. And we're really close. Again, if you can get this far, I'd be super happy, but we got to keep going because it's not completely done. Because I have 1x on top, 2 on bottom. How many's left and where is it? 1 on the bottom. Very good, and we're done. And again, if you have to write that out for yourself, you can kind of go off to the side and do some scratch work and show yourself that that's true. That's why there is 1 left on the bottom. And you don't have to write that in, but yes.
What about the 7?
Did I miss the 7? Thank you. 7 goes there. Thank you. Good question. We're already almost there. I liked what we did yesterday the most because it was super easy. So if you were gone yesterday, you didn't miss too hard of a topic. And these next 2 problems are what we're going to do. It was what we did yesterday is what I should say. Okay. What's wrong? No, it's not. Is it really?
Been sitting there for like the whole class.
Is it upside down?
Is that moving? Oh, no, it's not.
Okay, thank God.
Your face.
Oh my God, I would have been so upset. I would have been so upset. All right, I'll check up on him later. He's fine. Okay, he's a strong fish. All right, it's because maybe you were playing with him so much yesterday. You infected him. Just kidding. All right, so whenever you see subtraction, just like the bell ringer, we change it to a plus sign. And then we have to change both signs after it. Okay, like that negative distributes into both of the terms after. Okay, so then I still have 5x on the bottom. And let's go ahead and subtract across. So I have 8x minus 3x. Gets me what? 5x. And then I have negative 1 minus 4.
3.
Careful.
-5.
-5. Very good. Okay, if I owe you $1 and I borrowed 4 more from you, I now owe you $5 total. Okay? Now, all three of them can be divided by 5, or you can factor the 5 out first. It does not matter. It really just depends on which method you like. If I were to just divide the top by 5 like we normally do, I would get 5 parentheses x minus 1 all over 5x. And then you can see right here that that cancels. And I'm left with x minus 1 all over x. Now, I showed you yesterday there was another way that you can do that. The other way is that you could just automatically, if you recognize it, divide all three of them by 5, and you would have still got the same exact answer as me. It does not matter which way you choose, as long as you realize that. The reason why I didn't want to do it again today like that was because then if I gave you a different problem, some people were trying to do that method to everything then, and that wasn't true for some of them. So, okay. All right, let's take a look at this next one then, the last one. This one's already adding. So this is the one I was kind of talking about where people were trying to divide by everything, by a number, and it didn't really work out. What's nice is that we're adding. So right away, I know that I'm going to have all over x minus 2. That's a for sure thing. Then I have 7x plus 2x, which gets me 9x. And then I have negative 9 minus 9. I owe you 9, and then I borrowed 9 more from you. So, yeah, very good. Negative 18. Okay. Now, what can I divide? See how I can't divide all 4 by something? Like all 4 of them can't be divided by anything. So I just have to look at the top. What number goes into both 9 and 18? 9. There you go. So I'm going to divide by 9. And I get 9 parentheses something all over x minus 2. What's left inside when you divide both of them by 9? Very good, x minus 2. Okay, there's a reason why we do this to simplify. Because now this is gone, and I'm just left with the number 9. And that's my final answer. Okay, so that was like a good, nice, that was literally everything that I taught you the past couple of days. It was a good review, I felt. You guys were really into it for the most part, most of you. You have the remainder